Gear Patrol calls their new dive watch the best sub-$500 dive watch. Full stop. Men's Health rated them as the most stylish solar watch in the game. Who are we talking about? It's Movement. They're leveling up your gift giving with the sleekest watches you can buy and the biggest deals of the season. Shop 30 to 50% off Movement's innovative California clean watches, jewelry, and accessories with fast free shipping and returns now at mvmt.com. That's mvmt.com.
Hello and welcome back to the Potted Together podcast. My name is Adam and I am joined by my co-host Becca and Nicole. Hi.
Hi.
Today we're going to be chatting about plant swaps now that the panorama is maybe going to change in the future. But
I love all the nicknames. Now that the panorama, now that the Pandora's box or whatever, all the names.
Pandy.
Yeah. But first, as always, we like to do a catch-up because, first of all, we're friends, and then we're podcasters. So we like to know what's going on with each other's lives, and I think people enjoy that, so that's what we do.
That's what
here
we do
on this pod. So, Becca, how's your week?
Oh, should I talk about the roadkill? Another roadkill convo? Should we go there?
Another roadkill? Yes. Yes.
So if you guys follow me on Instagram, you might have heard this. I created roadkill on accident. It was a very unfortunate situation. It was a run-in with a coyote. Which, listen, right after I did it, I was obviously torn up. I cried a lot, couldn't eat, upset. We turned around to find the missing part that fell off the truck, which probably was really stupid, actually, now that I think back, because we were on a highway. But anyway, my one consolation here is that it probably died on impact because I was driving 80 miles per hour. That's very fast. Top speeds on the
Arizona
highway.
Speed limit.
Hey. And also, coyotes are kind of lone wolves, just to some effect, Usually, if they are in packs, the rest of the family would have been there too, but I didn't see anyone else. So I'm holding on to hope that it was alone with no family. Okay? And if you disagree, don't tell me, because I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. Wasn't it a few episodes ago when you said that, most roadkill you saw in Arizona was snakes and such, but then if you saw, a coyote or a javelina, you'd be sad? I feel like you just secret boarded this.
Yeah.
Why do we do this? I manifested this. Unfortunately, I did say that, and then I freaking killed a coyote.
So wait, there was damage to the truck?
Yeah, so it ripped off so the truck has a thing underneath the fender to help with gas mileage or whatever.
Yeah.
Don't ask me truck anatomy here, but that ripped off. It's a thick plastic piece. It ripped off, and then some the floodlight broke as well, and then apparently the alignment was off and something else I don't remember. But a lot of stuff happened in that little interaction. Mm-hmm. Well, it wasn't little.
Well,
but
listen.
Yeah.
It could have been worse. That could have been a deer. Those things do some damage to your vehicle.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I was I don't want to hit a deer at any point. I don't. Dang it, I just jinxed it. Fuck. No, I didn't.
God. Sorry, my fault.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I feel like it probably will happen eventually, but I'm glad that I was in the truck when it happened, because if this happened in my little car, it could have flipped up over my windshield, 'cause my car is really small. So it's good that I was in the truck, well protected. It's a bit of a beast, so... Oh, it bent the fender as well. It just did so much stuff.
Ugh.
Damn, you were
So-
driving fast.
I was
a
driving
fat
really
fox.
fast. I didn't even slow down because like after it happened and after I had calmed down, like Daniel loves to give me feedback. I don't know if your partners are like this. He has to give me feedback on everything. And I'm like, I don't want your feedback. Like, just leave it. He's like, you can't take criticism. You can't take feedback. I'm like, I can. It's just when you give me feedback all the time, there comes a limit. Okay. So after we've been driving after for a while, he's like, so let's just talk about this. Like, let's talk about some tips. I'm like, no, I don't want to know. I don't want to know what I could have done better. I did the best I could. And he's like, okay, well, so basically he told me that if I would have slammed on my brakes, that might have prevented it, possibly. But then we concluded the fact that I didn't even see it until I had basically already hit it because it was
Right.
dark. And I was wearing my glasses. My vision's not great. So, like, maybe if I slammed on my brakes when I saw it running in, that might have helped a little bit, but I didn't. So I was like, well, that doesn't work. I'm like being such a brat. So, yeah, but he said, very good that you didn't swerve. And that was all the feedback I allowed that night. I said, I'm tired, and I don't want to talk about it anymore.
When did this happen?
That was Sunday night. No, Saturday night.
Wow. Okay, so this is how we know that I have been very much off of social media because I am so on top of your guys' stories that it's like not even funny. Like I'm pretty sure you could post something and I'll see it at least like 30 minutes later. And I never even saw your stories on this.
She posted it today.
Yeah, I posted it today,
Oh,
right
okay.
before we hopped on this call. Because honestly, I didn't even know if I wanted to talk about it because I felt so sad about it. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to share. Because people love hearing about my like experiences living here, like how it's different from Arizona and like finding acorns and worms. Like people just love hearing about it. So I'm like, okay, well, let's talk about how I made roadkill. Okay.
Yeah.
How I made roadkill. Yeah, so I just feel like, me personally, if I was going to slam on my brakes because I saw it, I also would have inherently swerved. Because I do
Right.
that even when like a bird is too close to my windshield. So I'm kind of glad that you didn't do any of those things. Like I'm not glad that the coyote was hit because it's all like it always tears my heart apart whenever I've hit an animal on accident. But yeah, like if I saw it enough to slam on my brakes, I definitely would have had the reaction to swerve. So I'm just grateful because that would have caused a lot more issues than,
Yeah.
what you went through.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, it's not good. It wasn't good either way, but
It's not good.
I just know that for insurance, it's better if you just drive straight. So that's where my mind went. I went to autopilot. I'm like, don't swerve.
That's homophobic. You just drive forward. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
So sorry. Oh, it's a curvy line, you know. It's just it's a curvy line. We're on there somewhere, right? So other than
What
that,
about? Yeah, let's hear like a fun thing that happened this week. Not that you can't share the negative, like not that you can't share the bad stuff.
my depression is back.
Oh no! I mean, we all can laugh because we all like feel this pain.
Yes.
No,
Hello,
okay.
old friend.
Something positive. Something positive.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yeah, that's literally me right now. Gosh, it sucks that it's so hard for me to think of something. This week
You
was
took
honestly kind of difficult, but you know, I had a sponsored video on YouTube. That's always a good thing, you know, making some money, you know, taking
was a great
steps.
video.
Thank you. I put out a YouTube
was
video.
fun.
That's the good news of the week. That was really not something I was able to do last week. So I did that, and I'm very
Yeah.
proud of myself. So yeah.
And so many ads.
Oh my god.
Okay, but I didn't get any ads though. Is that weird? Like I'm not on YouTube like Prime, Premiere, whatever the hell it is. I don't remember seeing one ad in your video.
Okay, see, that's the weird. Did you watch it like right when I posted it?
Yeah, it was shortly after.
Okay, that's usually if you catch the video like moments or even minutes after the creator posts it, you might get out of the ads. So somebody did message me.
Well, it wasn't that
like,
early because you post early, right? Oh no, you posted later that day, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I posted it at like 9 or 10. Probably more like 10 or 11, honestly. But no, but some people messaged me and said they didn't see any ads, and I was like, oh, they must have watched it right when I published it. And then someone said, like, everyone was so nice about it. So if you missed the drama, the video legit had like 6 or 7 ads in it, all like 3 minutes apart at the end of the video. And I was like, what the heck? Like, when I see that on people's YouTube videos, like, part of me is like, oh my God, like, I get it, but also this is really hard to watch the video because it keeps getting interrupted.
Yeah.
And then part of me is like, get that bag. Yeah. So I was expecting like 2 reactions. And the only reaction that people message, I mean, people aren't going to be like, yeah, that was really bad. Like, I feel like no one would do that. And no one did. But most people were like, oh, I didn't think anything of it. Like, get that bag, girl. And I was like, okay, like, but let me know next time.
Because it's a little excessive.
Yeah. I mean, I feel bad, you know? I mean, we want to make money off of our YouTube videos, but I'm not going to do it by loading it with ads every 3 minutes in a 30-minute video. Like, that's too much.
Yeah. When I did my Shop Small video back in December, November, I can't remember. When I went in to edit the ad breaks, because if you're not a creator, you can add in your ads. It had, because the video was like 50 minutes long, it had like 18 ads in it. I was like, nobody is going to get through. Like, why do they do that? Why does YouTube do that? That's so excessive.
Yeah, I think YouTube like wants you to put ads like every 5 minutes.
It's insane.
I mean, I think that's what a lot of people do. And I guess I kind of stick to that a little bit, but more or less.
Well,
just
5
depends.
minutes, I guess 5 minutes if you have like a 15-minute video, like that would break it up. But if you have a 45-minute video and you're watching like a 2-minute ad every 5 minutes, it's just too much, It's
annoying. Yeah, it is annoying.
Yeah.
I usually do like, if it's a 15 to 20 minute video, there's usually 2 ads. 10-minute video, there's 1. 20 to 30, maybe I'll do 3. Just depends.
Yeah. I saw in your stories this week that you did a little exploring on your property and found some new spots. That was kind of fun.
Oh, that's good news. Okay, so yeah, there's this whole part of my property that I haven't really ventured into because it's really, really, really thick. And I really should have been exploring it in the wintertime when everything was dead. Huh?
2 C's.
Oh, she's thick.
I said hot.
Yeah. I really should have been exploring that. No. Yeah. But I was walking around there because it had just rained. And so we have like a dry creek. Is that what it's called? It's only running when it's raining. Basically, it's just like a water runoff. So we had one of those and it was really, really full because it's been raining so much. And I was trudging through it in my little boots and the dogs were with me. And it was so beautiful. Like, it actually looked like a foreign country for a moment. Or like, not a foreign country, but it just like did not look like it would be my backyard. Like, that's not something that can exist in someone's backyard. It's way too beautiful. It has to be a park or something. But it exists at my house. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. So definitely want to show that part of the property, like maybe in the spring, like walk my property because I've never shown that before. And in addition to like everywhere else I showed, like I kind of showed the beginning of it in the winter one, but much to see. I mean, 7 acres is a lot of land when you think about it. So
it is, yeah.
Like walking
it's gonna look so pretty when everything starts blooming.
I'm so excited. I'm gonna need to get like is it like a machete that you can like swing around and like what they do in jungles? I'm gonna need to get one of those to be able to get through there.
And horror movies.
And horror movies, yes. But yes, okay, Adam, thank you for bringing out that bright spot because it's a little bit difficult to find them right now. So thank you for saying that.
No, I totally understand.
Yeah, but what about you guys?
And I wasn't And I just want to make it clear I was not calling you out, being like, oh, you need to say something positive, because I freaking hate, I like when people are like, what's the peak and the pit of the day? Because like you talk about your bad part of the day, but then you also talk about your peak, which is your happy part. But
I peaked
and I
in
love
high
your
school,
property. And I
so.
can't wait to see it in person. No, you didn't. I've seen the pictures.
Honestly,
Just kidding.
physically, I did, but everything else, no. No, I mean,
Okay, Nicole. What
you
about,
guys have to come visit me
sorry.
once you're vaxxed. Come visit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were
Heck
talking about that when
yes.
I was in Arizona a couple weeks ago. We were like, we have to plan this. Like, we have to stop talking about it and start planning it,
I've got 2 spare bedrooms, you guys.
Woohoo!
Oh, I mean, I'd rather sleep in the same bed with Nicole and keep each other warm,
Well,
That's fine. One of them is a queen.
Just
that's fine.
I mean,
same.
I'm not gonna question it. It's not like you guys are gonna like be weird.
Be weird. Is that what we're calling it now? Oh, every episode, you guys. Oh man.
It's all my fault. Nicole, how's your week been?
Oh, Okay. Let's focus on some positivity. So we're still looking at houses, and we currently placed a bid on one, but I don't want to talk too much about it because we lost another house that we bid on because of some issues with it. So it's been a process. And I mean, the market is insane right now, and it's definitely a seller's market. So it's like not a buyer's market. Like the homes are selling for more than they're worth. People are outbidding other people. It's just a crazy time. So it's been a little bit more stressful than I expected it to be, but it feels so good, like, to have my mom and Ted back in Chicago. We saw the kids. We got tested last week. Yeah, we got tested last week, and we saw the kids, and they were with us for, half the week, and it was nice. It's crowded, but you don't realize it really when you're just like hanging out, having a good time with family, and it's like to know that they're not going anywhere and this is not a temporary thing. It's actually a comforting and like good feeling. So we're really excited to have them back. And my mom got vaccinated. She got her first shot 2 days ago. Yeah. So that's good, because then she's going to be fully vaccinated soon. And then because Ted has other grandkids here and like other family. So we're just really excited to be able to get together with them and like see them and not have to really worry as much as we did last year when we couldn't see anybody,
Yeah.
So
Have you come across any like very weird things on these houses that you're seeing? Because when I was doing house hunting a while ago, there's some weird crap that people have in their houses.
Well, we haven't seen anything in person, but some of these listings, y'all, like, whoa. Like, there was this one house that was $500,000, and it looked absolutely gorgeous on the outside. Kitchen was beautiful, all the bathrooms redone, and then there was this like separate living space in the basement, and I shit you not, there was green carpeting in the bathroom. Windows
Gross.
all over the place, green tile. It looked like a jungle, but not a good jungle, like a weird 70s like porno jungle. Like, it was really weird, if that makes any sense.
That's the soundbite of the
Sign
episode.
me up.
Honestly, that's a place I want to go.
Yeah. Also, Nicole, you're wearing all green right now, so I think
I
maybe a
know.
little bit of it got into your head.
It possibly did, but it's like some of the things, I think that we're avoiding all the weird stuff because we've definitely seen some in pictures along the way in houses that we've considered, and we're just like, no, we already know that's going to be a no-go, and we really want to get something that we don't have to remodel a whole lot. So yeah, we've been kind of writing off those doozies and haven't even looked at them. But yeah, no. So what are some that you've seen? Can you
Well,
think
like-
of like one weird thing?
Yeah, there was one where like this, there was like a hot tub in the house. And that was a little weird, but not like, because it was in a spot that like a hot tub should not have been in a house.
Okay.
But then there was a lot of houses I saw that had locks on the outside of the doors. So not like the inside. So I was like, what
What is
happened
that?
in here? Because they
Child
were
abuse.
empty. So I'm just like, yeah. So I'm just like, what was going on in this house?
Oh no. I remember when Jay and I were looking for an apartment, we we saw this one place that had footprints on the ceiling. And we looked at the realtor that was showing it to us and we're like, so can you explain why there's footprints on this? He's like, oh, this was a fraternity house. And I was like, where are we? We're not even around a college. Like, what does that even mean? It was so weird. He's like, you could just paint it. I was like, yeah, I know that, but like, I want to know what happened. Like, what the heck is that about? People getting drunk and like the ceilings were like 9-foot ceilings. How are you getting up there? That's some demonic stuff.
Maybe that's where Lionel Richie filmed his video for Walking on the Ceiling. Could be.
Very well could be. Wow. You know, fraternity brothers.
I'm glad that you both said fraternity because before I ever corrected you when you said frat, like you both would have said frat. So that just like
True.
it warms my heart.
I
Look at
did
you
that
two, being
just for
considerate.
you. Like, literally just for you. No other circumstance would I consider the feelings of a fraternity brother. Because they would never consider mine. So I would never.
I mean, technically, if footprints were on the ceilings, that seems more like a frat.
Frat. Wait.
Duly
oh my
noted.
God. Speaking of frats, the quickest tangent, or not even tangent, sidebar. Okay, so when I was in college, I went to a frat party. It was like a homecoming tailgate thing, and I got really drunk. Okay, was I 21? I don't remember. I think I was 21. Anyway, wait, I was. Doesn't matter anyway. They can't find me anyway. Okay, back to the point.
Oh, they can find you.
Okay, so like, if you've never been to a frat party and you're like, you know, a normal whatever, who goes to frat parties, whatever. So I went, and there was just like a bunch of people like dancing and making out. It was like during the day, so there was just like loud music, drinking, whatever. Okay, so there was this guy who was an alum who came back, and I'm not going to say his name. Let's say his name was Sam, and he he asked me if I wanted to
Interesting name
dance.
choice.
He asked me if I wanted to dance, and I was like, sure. And I was like swing dance? And he, like, I was fully expecting him, because I didn't want to dance with, like, because, I don't know, I wasn't a person who went to frat parties to, like, get with a frat boy. I was just, like, dancing with my friends. And, you know, and I don't say that as, like, I'm not like other girls, like, not at all. Girls support girls. The point is, he looked at me and he goes, wow, I never thought someone would want to swing dance at a party like this.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, really? He's like, yeah. So we just swing danced,
Oh
like
my
literally.
God.
Like, we were like flying around the dance floor for like an hour. And like towards
Oh
the
my
end
God,
of
that's
it,
so fun.
it was so fun. And then towards the end of it, he tried to kiss me, and I had red lipstick on. And I was like, no, you're going to ruin my lipstick. And he was like, oh, okay. And then that was really like the end of it. And then he walked me to the game, and then I never heard from him again. And then I joined Clubhouse this morning. He's on Clubhouse because
Oh,
I had his
no.
number for some
Oh
reason.
no.
And I saw him, and I was like, Sam, like, what is Sam doing on? And then I didn't know who it was, and then I looked further, and I was like, oh my God, it's the guy from the frat. Anyway, he's like
The guy from the frat.
he's like a business guy, you know. He has like a real job, like a real life. It was just funny. Like he probably saw my profile too.
That's
Yeah.
so fun.
College.
That is hilarious. But also, you know, what a semi-gentleman. He took no for an answer and was like, okay. And then he walked you to the game.
Yes, he was a perfect
Way to go,
gentleman.
Sam.
Yeah.
Way to go.
It was great. It was
Props,
a
Sam.
wonderful interaction. It was probably the best interaction I had with. I probably had one other good interaction with a man on campus, so that was good. Good for him.
Yeah.
The rest were
Good.
terrible.
Good for him.
I mean, yeah. Let's just say I did not meet Daniel on campus.
Okay, good.
You know, I'm glad you're on Clubhouse since both of us have been like a little pestering you about it.
A
But
little bit.
I did not feel comfortable on there until I like joined my first room as like a host thingy. So then I kind of got the rundown. So I think we should do that at some point because it actually really is fun, but it's scary to get into because you're just like, well, how does this work? And I don't like not knowing how things work.
Yeah.
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 I think it'd be so fun if we did something together, us three on there. We should totally do it. I don't know how it works. I'm very
Yes.
confused, but I'm in.
It could be like a live podcast, you know, like we could just advertise it as a live podcast on
But then,
Clubhouse.
you know, then people can come up on stage and ask questions, and it's a cool new experience, I think. So I'm excited. I'm excited that you're on it now.
Yeah, me too. I saw that and I was like, oh, yay. She finally took the plunge.
I'm on it. What about you, Adam? Now that we've sufficiently talked about ourselves, what's going on with you?
For
Oh,
25
yeah.
minutes.
No, I love these. I love these chats. Not much here. I took a weekend trip to Tucson, which I didn't like blast about because I was like, I didn't want you to see my stories and get like, you know, sad about it. But
what the heck?
not that I think you would. Like I know you wouldn't have saw him, but like, God damn it. But we drove up Mount Lemon, and I just thought about Bride Becca the whole time. But I have some friends visiting, so that's like what we did. And then because of you, Becca, I took them to that St. Augustine where we ate with Ashley,
Ooh.
that market, and ate at Sace, and they all were like in love with the whole place. And it was so cool because I was like, I only know about this because Becca.
I could cry. I miss them so much.
That's so
And-
sweet.
Yeah, I forget how beautiful Tucson is. Like literally the giant mountains are like right in the city. Like it's just, I don't know. Like obviously I've been there, but I just really forget like how gorgeous it is. And I went into your coffee shop in the market, and they didn't. I was like, I'm gonna see if they sell their chai mix because I know that's what you liked, their chai mix. But they don't sell it.
Oh, you wanted to send it to her? You're the sweetest person in the world. I just want to state that as a fact.
They only had coffee on the counter, like as a product you could buy. So I was like, damn it.
Oh, was it Presta?
Yeah, well, maybe that wasn't the place where you had the best chai, but the one that has like the pothos that's like literally all over everything.
Yeah, they do carry the chai. Actually, that chai company messaged me on Instagram, which was crazy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like, are you going to send me free stuff? No, I'm joking. No. They were just chatting with me.
Other than that, it's been one of those weeks. Well, I did get my first vaccination shot because Arizona opened up to 18 plus
Yay.
yesterday.
Yay.
So my booty was on that website trying to schedule an appointment as soon as possible. So I was able to get in, and I do know that I'm fortunate, and I don't want to like hoard that over anybody. But I'm hopeful for a world that's getting back to some sort of normal, air quotes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was kind of fun. But I've been feeling blue too. I think we're synced up, you know, just like it's maybe my myriad. I don't know, but I think also TikTok knows when I'm not doing well, and then they immediately show me videos that make me cry. So like yesterday I was just on TikTok scrolling, and there was like a kid who was like fighting with his so he was blindfolded and he was like at boxing practice, but his dad came back from the military, and he didn't know that he was like sparring with his dad.
Those
And
kill
honestly,
me.
when he took his mask off and saw that it was dad and the way he hugged him, I was sobbing. I was just like, what is going on?
Oh, no.
Those are like, I can't even watch those commercials. Like, I have to walk out of the room because they damage
Yeah.
me. They hurt my soul. They're so happy.
Yeah. The vaccine was easy. My arm is really sore. My arm was sore right when I got it. Which at first I was thinking like, oh, am I going to be one of those like 0.0001% of people that like have complications?
Your
Did
arm
you-
falls off.
Did you get Pfizer?
Moderna.
Moderna. Okay. My mom got Pfizer, which I don't think it matters, but she said she didn't even feel the needle, but her arm was super sore.
Oh yeah, I didn't
afterward.
feel the shot at all.
Okay.
But they make you sit there and wait like 20 minutes as mandatory time. My arm was just like hurting.
Yeah.
But I'm happy I have it. I'm excited for other people to get it as well. I want to try to be careful about the language I use because I've seen a lot of like things going around online like hug me, like I'm huggable now. And personally, because the gay community, when the HIV crisis was going on and it was so bad, and still to this day, some people in the gay community refer to their status, meaning if they're living with HIV or not, they refer to their status as clean or like I'm clean, I'm safe. And it's damaging, like really damaging to people because as medical advances have happened, you can be living with HIV and you can be undetectable. You cannot transmit it. Your life is not impacted except that you have this virus that you just is, in you or whatever. But yeah, so I don't want to sit here and gatekeep people's language, but I do want to say that like things like buying a t-shirt that says I'm huggable, I just think that maybe you should just give it a second thought. Maybe.
Yeah. See, I never thought of that, but I'm glad you brought that up. That makes sense.
But yeah. That just felt really bossy and I don't even know if I'm going to leave it in.
I think it's okay to leave it.
Actually, I saw a post like that was saying like, hey, just like be cautious about when you post about it. And I didn't really understand why. I mean, like the post, like it mentioned HIV, but I feel like it didn't compute to me like why that would be. And I was kind of like, oh, I guess some people, but then I was like, well, what do you mean some people can't access it? It's free. So I don't know. I was a little bit confused about what exactly that meant. So that is because of this previous thing that was happening with HIV. That's why.
Yeah. And I think we probably saw the same post because our friend Kaylee, I think, posted it to her stories.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And so I read it and I was like, trying to understand. Like, I wasn't like, what the heck? I'm just trying to understand, like, what the reasoning is to not talk about the fact that you got the vaccine. So I'm glad that you just explained that because it didn't compute.
Yeah. And I don't think it's solely. Yeah. I don't think it's solely just that, too. Like, because there are probably folks within small rural communities around this country that don't have the vaccine because, those vaccines have to be stored. Most of them have to be stored in very, very frozen temperatures to stay active. And, a rural hospital isn't going to have a nitrogen freezer or whatever.
Right.
So, yet. So I do think that there is a little bit of I'm happy that people are excited to get the vaccine and I do want people to continue to get it, but it could cause some negative emotions for others if you're seeing all these people posting their cards or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, it is a privilege to be able to have access to it, basically, is the point. And to recognize that in your language. Mm-hmm. Ah, that's good. That's a great clarification on that.
Shall we start today's epi?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Sorry, I just had a little burpee that needed to come out before I could talk again.
Adam had a burpee.
Today we're talking about plant swaps, which to me were terrifying, but I've gotten over that. And I met the one and only Becca de la Paz, de la Plants.
How did you just say my name? Oh my God, I just triggered from a childhood of no one saying my name right.
Oh.
Sorry. That is so funny. That's actually how people would pronounce it. That's so funny. I'm fine. Don't worry.
Oh. I'm sorry.
I know that you meant to say plants. Yeah. It's no. Please. It was one of those things where your mind said one thing but your mouth said another.
Yeah, I hate when that happens.
I called you De La Tanks last week.
The De Las. It's confusing.
That's what happens when you're a branding babe.
Yeah. You got the De La everything. Okay.
De La everything. So yeah, we're going to talk about plant swaps and maybe just give you our experiences of plant swaps in person and maybe even mail, and also kind of a what to expect, even though all plant swaps are different and they can, the rules or the what to expect may change, But for me personally, the fear of the unknown will stop me from doing anything. So once I know a bit more about it, then I'll feel a little bit more comfortable. So, and I'm an introvert by heart. So I think maybe that'll help take the stigma away from people who are, a little bit loners, but would like to maybe meet others in the plant community kind of thing.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
So plant swaps. Let's first talk about in person, and then we can do online. Let's just categorize it that way, like you said.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think that's good.
let's talk about our personal plant swap experiences. Like, Nicole, have you been to an in-person plant swap, like an event?
I have not. I've never been to an in-person one. I've seen many online. I love your stories from them, but I've never been to one in person. So I actually have some anxiety around them. And like the more that you guys tell your stories of plant swaps, and like after seeing pictures and stuff, obviously it makes me feel a little bit better. But I feel like if I still went to one, I would still be a little bit nervous. Like, I guess I would be nervous to like not do something right. And I feel like that just sounds stupid because there is no real right or wrong way to do things. Like, as long as you're labeling your plants and like telling people like where they're getting them from, so they know, it's like, just bring your plants and talk to people and have fun, but I still have a little bit of anxiety about it. So I'm glad we're doing this episode because I want to hear you guys talk about it more in depth.
Well, I went to my first plant swap in Phoenix. So for a while, our friend Trinity in Phoenix was hosting plant swaps quite a bit. And really like every couple of months she was hosting one. And, she went the extra mile and had like raffles and stuff like that at the plant swaps. So that was a little bit more of an intricate situation. And honestly, a lot of plant swaps that I see, like from pictures, people do raffles and stuff because it's just a fun extra thing. And you can usually partner with a company and like give stuff away. And so that's usually the setup is for an in-person plant swap is you walk in with your box of plants and then you set up on a section of a table. Usually it's like lined off like with tape or like, you just pick a spot and create your borders, and then you set up your plants, and then you have to make sure that you label them with your name, usually your Instagram as well, and just display them, and then you can start walking around. Now, since I started talking about plant swaps, people have messaged me or commented and been like, wow, this plant swap looked so much better than the one that I went to, because the one that I went to, they like took all of our plants and then gave everybody like, you get a ticket for each plant that you bring, and then you just like go in order, and then like basically you don't get to choose what you're trading for. Have you guys heard of plant swaps like that? I think it's really weird. Like, you basically
I
just
would
like
not be okay with that.
Yeah, like I don't know if you go up one at a time to like a table like full of cuttings and like pick one out, but like pretty much you don't get to make trades one-on-one with people, which I personally think is the best part of swaps, because then you're actively talking to people and saying, oh, hey, I love this plant. And it can be really casual, but in a situation like that, you don't get those interactions. But with all the plant swaps that I've been to, and probably Adam too, you get to set up your little station, and then you walk around and you say, hey, I love this Hoya. My stand is over there. If you see anything you like, let me know and we can trade. And people will say, yeah, let's trade, or they'll kind of just not say anything, and then you know that they don't want to trade with you. So it's fun. And,
Yeah.
Usually there's food and, just like fun times with friends to chat. And it's not as scary as you think, especially when you go to them often, because you'll see the same people over and over again.
And I think I would add to that like, asking someone to trade is terrifying to me. Like, still, even having been to a few plant swaps, it's still terrifying to me. So I'm more or less one of those people like, you can come to me, but like I don't throw feelers out because my fear of rejection is intense. That being said, I have never turned down a trade just because usually what I'm bringing to the plant swap is not something like that I need because I've propagated part of a plant that I had. So if someone came up to me and was like, oh, I really want this, then I'm going to give it to them because I don't know. Not saying you have to be like that, but I feel like the majority of people are like that. I mean, there might be some people that just say, oh, no, thank you, I have all that stuff. But I haven't encountered that, but also I haven't reached out to ask if someone wanted to trade.
Yeah. And if they feel like it's not a fair trade, like in my experience, I have reached out to people, like walked up. What they'll do is they'll be like, oh, well, can I have this and this for that single cutting? Like you just do 2 for 1 instead, or they'll just say, I already have all of these. But you don't go with plants expecting to bring them back home is kind of the mindset. You kind of expect to come home empty-handed from your own stuff and bring home completely. And then if you wait until the end of a plant swap, if someone still has their stuff, they literally are just like, take it. I don't want it. Just take it. And sometimes it's good stuff. So I've lucked out. If you stay to the end, people do that. It's pretty cool.
So some common fears, I think, are people thinking that they don't have cool enough plants to bring to a plant swap. And that I want to debunk right now, because plants are plants. And if you bring something and someone doesn't want it, that's fine. But that doesn't reflect on you or your collection that, you know, it's not up to par. Because, you know, I've been to plant swaps where there's been mass amounts of spider plants and pothos, things that are easily found, but these plants came from somebody that you can connect with in real life. And that, to me, immediately makes them more sentimental than just pulling them off of shelf at Walmart or a big box store. So don't stop yourself, because that's not what it's about. I mean, in essence, it is kind of about that, but it's also about kind of finding a community, because the plant swap that I went to first with Becca, I met people. I had just recently moved to Arizona, and I had met people there that I'm still friends with, and we still hang out, you know, outside of the panorama. So it was because I was able to talk to them, and I'm an introvert. So like finding small talk is very difficult for me with people that I don't know or have an established connection with. But we all love plants, and that's an immediate conversation starter. Like you can talk about plants. Anybody who's a plant parent can talk about plants. So you already have a topic that you can focus on, you know?
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I think that was something that was like a subconscious in my head, because I was always thinking like, oh God, people are going to look at the plants I bring and they're going to be like, why is she here? Because she has pothos. But yeah, that's good that you said that. Like I've since upped my collection since the last opportunity to go to a plant swap, which feels like years ago. 2020 is a blur, but you know, so I think I could have some better stuff for a plant swap this year, but that's besides the point. I'm glad you talked about that, because I feel like maybe that's probably the scariest part of any of it for people. Like they're not going to have the cool enough plants.
And I know Becca kind of already talked about the process, but like I would say the majority of the plant swaps that I've been to, there was maybe like an entrance, like you had to pay $5 to be involved in it. But then you also got a ticket that you could choose. So the ones that Trinity did, she had multiple options for like prizes that were donated. And by paying the entrance fee, you immediately got a ticket that you could put in any of the bowls for a raffle. Like you could choose which bowls you wanted to put in it. And you also could buy extra tickets while you were there if you wanted more chances to win. But yeah, I think if you're going to host one, the raffle's a really good idea. Make sure you have name tags and tell people, I would say to put their Instagram handles on there as well, because a lot of the time, like I remember people's Instagram, but I don't remember. And sometimes people don't even have their real name on their Instagram. So I'm like, you know, trying to figure that out. But, you know, have a spot for people to lay things on the table. You can browse what people bring in. And then there's usually just like a specified start date, so our start time. So like you can start arriving at 8 a.m., but the swap might start at 9 a.m. So you can have an hour to like organize your stuff, browse what people brought, and then at 9 a.m. you just like start trading, you know?
Yeah, and
I think that's kind of a good recipe for...
Come early, don't come late. Like, try your best. Even if you're like at minimum 5 minutes early before the trade time. Because when you show up late, like no one's surveyed your stuff. Like no one's going to trade with you unless they like happen to walk by. You know, usually you set up and you walk around, like Adam said. So if you show up late, I mean, you're going to get a bad spot at the tables and people might not know that you're even there.
And then I guess one last, not last thing because we can talk more, but you can bring any sort of plant. You can bring a whole potted plant. You can bring a rooted cutting. You could bring a fresh cutting. And you can even bring like plant supplies that you don't want. Maybe you have like an abundance of terracotta pots like I do now since I've transferred to semi-hydro. You can bring those too. Like I've seen shelving, decor, grow lights, all of that stuff you can bring because someone out there might want it. And then you can trade that for a plant,
Moss poles. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't have to be just plants. I think a lot of the time I bring cuttings, but I'll also just bring plant things. I brought a grow light one time and I got my fiddle leaf fig for it. So like that's really cool.
I have a question. And this might be a stupid question, but there's no like money exchange other than the entry fee if there is one. Like people aren't allowed to like offer you a price for your plant, right?
Usually. I've never
like
it's kind of icky. If someone did that, I'd be like, no.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Like,
that's what I was thinking. Because I'm just thinking about it. I was just thinking about it and I was like, well, what if somebody with like a tie cutting goes up to somebody, or like someone who has a pothos goes up to somebody with a tie and is like, I don't have anything, but can I give you $50 for that? Like, I wonder if that's ever happened, and that would be tacky, but I'm also wondering if there's like rules in place where people cannot do that because that would be unfair at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, to me, that seems a bit icky. Yeah. I'm sure that it probably has happened and will happen at some point. But I don't think, plant swaps are usually for swapping plants and not swapping, cash for plants.
Right.
It's a very good, example. But also I do want to say that the plant world has changed drastically since we were having plant swaps.
That's
right.
True.
For sure.
It's very different now.
I don't know what it'll look like afterwards because when we were having plant swaps, there weren't plant auctions going on. And now that's just like you see that everywhere.
Yeah, like all over the place. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. But I do want to say, though, I think plant swaps are a great place to connect and interact and build a community and find friends and friendships. So if there's not a plant swap in your area, think about in the future maybe creating one because, where there are plants, there will be people.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Very true. And you can connect with your local garden centers to see if they would want to host or if they know of anything. Usually if there's a Facebook group, there should be some sort of plant swap happening. I'm interested to see if Columbia will have something this summer maybe. If not, I might want to organize it. But I'd love to go to a plant swap here and meet people.
A really good place to do that is on Indoor Jungle Directory on Instagram or on indoorjungledirectory.com. If you're not already on it, our lovely Becca started it. But I feel like that's the best place to do it because that shows you exactly who's in your community. You can get together with other people in your area and you can even put something together with somebody else, if you're afraid to do it yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else about in-person plant swaps. Again, I haven't been to a ton. I've maybe been to 3 or 4. But you can always reach out to me if you have questions. If you're interested in starting one, I can give some tips that if I have any tips, I can give you just from my experience. And I'm sure Becca feels the same way. But don't be afraid of them. I guess that's the main thing I wanted people to know is I fear the unknown, like I stated earlier, but plant people are usually good people and you will be in good company and just don't get in your own way in these situations. Don't let you stop yourself because you could meet an amazing person like Becca at a plant swap.
I hope. I need friends that aren't my husband, okay? So don't be shy.
Everyone coming out of 2020. Everyone's statement coming out of 2020.
Yeah.
I need friends that are not my spouse.
Yeah, for real. Should we talk about online plant swaps? Nicole, you've done a lot.
Yeah,
Probably more than any of us, dare I say.
I don't know. I don't Well, I think I've done like maybe 3. So no, I don't think so. But I have some insight.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Well, I don't know. Like my first plant swap was with Planting the World Red, Ashley, who is just
the queen of plant swapping.
She's the best.
Queen.
We
Like,
should have had her on today.
gosh,
Yeah, we
should have. I will hug that woman one day in my lifetime. Mark my word. But I was a little scared. Well, for one, her plant collection's amazing, but I was a little nervous doing my first one because I always have this like fear around shipping plants. Like I'm terrified that they're going to die in the mail, something's going to happen, whatever. But I swallowed that fear and I packaged them up best I could. I feel like with plant swaps through the mail, you just have to really make sure that you're packaging your plants well, and you're picking a good time to ship plants in the mail. If you live in the desert, obviously you don't want to do it in the dead of the summer. And if you're living in the north, you just don't want to do it in the dead of the winter. But if you do ship in temperatures that are below freezing, just include a heat pack and hope it works, because I've done that before too, where the heat pack just like works when I put it in the box and it arrives to them freezing cold. So that's not a good thing, but luckily those plants made it. And then, I don't know, like add a little written note to that person, explain what each plant is and like maybe what medium you had them in. Make sure that the roots are packaged properly. Like I like to use paper towel and then I'll put it in like a little Ziploc bag because I feel like then it won't leak all over the rest of the box. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know, just add like little things in there and like little notes and stuff. Like I think plant swaps by mail are a lot of fun because unboxing plants is one of my favorite things. Like it's nerve-wracking because you're like, I really hope that everything's okay, but it's also so much fun to get plant mail. So much fun. So yeah, I love doing them and I plan on doing more very soon once it starts to get just a little bit warmer here, which is coming. It is spring in the Midwest. It doesn't feel like it yet, but it's here.
Yeah.
Have you guys done plant swaps by mail, right? I mean, Adam, you sent me quite a few plants.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a fear of plants, like shipping plants. I usually just wrap the roots and then wrap it in like a paper something or other. I think the big thing to do is make sure that you pack the box with enough filling that it's not... I give it the shake test because you just don't want things like bouncing around in there. That's when you get the broken stuff. But as long as you put enough filler in there that if you shake it, it doesn't like, go all over, it's good. But the downside to that is like I have an entire closet just full of like bubble wrap and things that I've saved from plants that I've received.
Yeah, me too.
Because I don't want to throw it away. I was like, I can use this someday, just like Becca in her jars. I'm like, well, this isn't going in the recycling. I'm going to use it.
Yeah, that's true. I think something important about like mail plant swaps, because usually you're going to meet those people online. So maybe we can talk about like how to initiate an online plant swap, safety.
Oh, yeah.
And like manners. So what we're not going to do. And listen, if you listen to Potted Together, I highly doubt that you're a human that would do this. But if you do, you're not a bad person. You just don't know yet. So we're here to talk about that, I guess. So should you ask a stranger for a cutting of their plant? No. Adam, don't shake your head yes.
Oh, no, I thought you already answered no, so I was agreeing with the no.
No, the answer is no. Circumstances when that would be okay are circumstances where you open it up by saying, hey, if you ever want to do a plant swap, let me know. I might have, if there's anything on my page that you're interested in, I really love your tag constellation. It might be a little off-putting still that you're initiating that way, but it is less off-putting because you're saying, I'm down for a swap and look at my page. Right? I think that's a good script.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I think that hits a lot different than someone just being like, hey, can I buy a cutting of this plant? Because you're you're not just being like, oh, I need this, so I'm gonna pay for it. It's like, oh, like it opens up a conversation to be like, well, would you possibly want to trade, kind of thing. It's so much better than just like getting that DM that's like one message that says, can I buy this? Can I buy a cutting of this from you? Because I was like, no, I don't want to cut it. Like I'm not cutting my plant right now.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, like, but I feel like somebody asking if they could buy a cutting of your plant, like, one, you're not a plant seller, so what makes them think that you want to sell any of your plants? And I've had people DM me and say, hey, can I get a cutting of so-and-so plant? Like, just asking me for a cutting because they saw it in a video, and I'm just like, what? I'm so confused.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think that, I don't know, I think that the internet and like the way DMs sometimes come off, maybe people don't mean to sound the way they sound.
Yeah.
But I feel like initiating a conversation with people, like, you know, obviously if they're DMing you about possibly doing a plant swap, they either watch your YouTube videos, follow you on social media, or listen to the podcast. It's one of those things. Like, they found us somewhere. So like, if you're doing that with somebody, like, just initiating a conversation about maybe like, hey, I listened to the podcast today and like I heard about this plant. Like, if you heard like you like to do plant swaps, if you're ever interested, like that would be nice. Or like even just getting to know somebody a little bit before talking about plant swaps doesn't hurt either, you know, like.
Yeah, I would say that most of the don't DM someone and ask for a cutting just kind of applies to someone you don't have a prior established relationship with, whether that's you've chatted before, you follow your mutuals on social media, you've had conversations. Like, if that's the case, if someone's been having conversations with me, I know who they are, like we're friends, you know, that wouldn't bother me. But it's the things when I get like people who don't even follow me that are like, can I buy a cutting of this from you? And I'm just like, okay. Not that they have to follow me, but then we're just like, that's not a first impression that I think is like positive in my book, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you see another person, like,
I'm not just plants.
yeah. And removing ourselves from the equation, because you're probably not going to, you know, you're probably not going to be messaging only us, but and we're not posting this so that you guys can ask us all, but the point is like when you're messaging just someone, you know, establish a relationship first and or let it be known that you're willing to trade and you're not just asking for something for free or whatever else. Like, establish something first, right? Because here's what I always say. I would never message Adam and be like, can I have that shirt? It's like, what? No, this is my shirt. Like, you can't have my shirt. Oh my God, he's stripping.
As Adam takes off his Raise Some Heck shirt.
So yeah, there's that initially. And then there's a little bit of a bargain between you, you know? You say, okay, so you give me a cutting of that for 2 cuttings of this. Or, you know, it's the same, like very similar to what happens at an in-person plant swap, except I think there's a little bit more freedom in it because you really have like free reign on their whole collection to like ask about, rather than at an in-person plant swap you only have what they brought. So not that you're entitled to all of their plants, but you know what I mean.
And once you initiate that, you know, general conversation, and once like you get a plant swap going, I feel like plant swaps are such a great way to build your plant collection, especially if you're just starting out, or you know, you have a few plants in mind that are really just not obtainable because maybe, you know, pandy prices just set it out of your reach. And you can plant swap with somebody and get that plant in your collection. I think that that's just a great way. And it's also a great way to meet people. Like, it really is. Like, you have that plant swap interaction, then you can tag each other on social media, and you can just continue that conversation and send updates on how the plants are doing. I think it's just a really fun way to get to know other people and gain that connection.
Exactly. I love updates. I love when I get updates of like plants I sent to people, or I'll send updates to people because I'm just like, look at this. It's fun.
Exciting. And not only that, Adam mentioned it in the in-person plant swaps, but like, you're getting a plant from someone else's collection, so it holds more merit I don't know if that's the word, significance to the plant than just buying it in like a plant store. You know, like it's funny because when my mom got here, she was like, wow, look at all your plants. And she was just standing in front of my wall of plants. And I was like, yeah. And I literally went through almost every plant and told her exactly where I got that plant from. And she's like, oh my gosh, you didn't buy a lot of these plants. I was like, no, I got a lot of plants from like people. Adam, you were like a majority of my collection. I was like, that's from Adam, that's from Adam, that's from Adam. But it was cool because it right away took me back to the memory of opening the box or meeting that person and getting the plant from that person or whatever the case was. It was just it was a good feeling.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a little bit of safety measure to take when doing plant swaps with people that you've never met or that you don't know who they are, which most online people we don't know. So let's talk about that. So I got a P.O. box maybe like, I don't know, 7 or 8 months into doing YouTube. Just for safety reasons, I thought I was going to start working with some companies and I just didn't want people to have my address. But I also think that it's smart if you do a lot of plant swaps to get a P.O. box because then you're not giving your address out to people that you've never met or you don't know. Yeah. I don't think it hurts.
Yeah, I think that we should be very wary of giving out our address because you give out your address to someone right now, and this has happened to me before, like early in my plant journey. At the point in which I was trading with the person, it felt fine, like they weren't weird or anything. And then later on, it had come out that this person was like threatening people and like sending them like threatening like things in the mail. And just like a bunch of stuff. And that person had my address. So maybe I didn't screen them enough. Scary. But at the point that I traded with them, I didn't see anything. So you just never know. Like they might seem okay now, but later, who knows, right?
Yeah, I would fully agree with that. And I know that it's probably not, you know, I have a P.O. box too, and I got it mostly because I was shipping my merch and it needed a return address, and I didn't want to put my home address on that. So I know that P.O. boxes may not be attainable for everyone, but if you can maybe like have a plant shipped to your work, if your work is okay with that, at least you're giving an address that's not your home that you reside in, you know? Right. So maybe a friend has a P.O. box, or if you can get it to work, or I don't know other ways other than P.O. box or like having it shipped to your place of work. But it's not to say you can't have things shipped to your home. I just, like Becca said, be cognizant. Like, know the person you're giving your address to, because that's just, you know, that's very personal information, and you just want to be safe. You want to keep yourself safe. You want to keep your family, your friends, your roommates, everybody safe.
Yeah.
The internet is a scary place, y'all.
Yeah, and like plant people,
the interwebs.
Plant people are like most generally like really great, wonderful people, but there's definitely been a lot of people that have not been great and have been actually pretty scary. And like, not to get too crazy, but like they target women, so it's a little bit scary knowing that too.
Yeah, and then I guess I don't really know where to go from here, but I'm thinking like a tip for online trades. To me, I always think like if you're gonna send photos of your plants to someone that you know possibly want to trade with, a size comparison is key. Because you just want to, like, if you can just have like a quarter, or if you could have like a Sharpie marker or something, so they can kind of gauge what that plant is. Because I'm trying to think of the phrase I want to use, but like
size matters.
Expectation versus reality. Yeah, size matters. And if you're posting anything on a dating app, make sure you include a size reference. Because photos can be deceiving.
I mean, angles. If you gotta work your angles, like, I don't know.
It's all smoke and mirrors, babe. All smoke and mirrors. But expectation, if like someone's expecting a plant because they just saw a picture and they think it's a certain size and they get it and it's not, then there may be some disappointment there. So just to alleviate all of that happenstance, like, stick a banana or an orange in the picture just so you can see.
Why a banana? Why?
I don't know. Have we lost you? You're off the rails.
No, but for real, that's a very good tip. And as a photographer, and in reference to something I've been going through the past couple of weeks in house hunting, these pictures on Redfin are deceiving as hell, you guys.
That wide angle. Always.
That wide angle lens, you can really do some work in Photoshop in taking a picture of a plant. And I think we may have talked about this in another episode, but even like sending like a quick little video of your plant, like if you're talking through DMs or text message or whatever it is, that doesn't hurt either, just so people can see it before you ship it out and know that it was in good condition. And, if something happens along the way, it wasn't your fault, yada, yada, yada. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
size matters.
At the end of the day, size matters. No, at the end of the day, I think also last thing that I want to say is if the trade feels icky or you feel in any way uncomfortable or you're doing this out of obligation or whatever, then you should just not do it, because I've been in that situation so many times and I've continued, and then it turned out to be a bad trade, or it just was awkward or whatever, it's just important that you listen to your intuition, because your body just knows. I don't know how to explain it, but I've always been right when I have said that. I've always been right. So I have to listen more often.
Well, I think that kind of covers this plant swap topic. What do you guys think? Do you think we covered enough?
Yeah, I think this was good. I think that it'll help anybody that's never been to an in-person or never did any plant swap through the mail. Kind of covered it all.
Well, as always, you can head over to Instagram at Potted Together, and if you have any questions about plant swaps, you can comment that on our most recent post for this episode, or you can just send us a DM and ask us any questions you may have. You can send me a DM personally if you've been interested in starting a plant swap. I can give you some tips, Becca as well. So don't be afraid to reach out, but make sure you follow us over on Instagram. And then our individual ones at My Clean Leaves, at De La Plants, and at Not Dude. And we're also on YouTube, Potted Together on there as well. And it houses our videos, our collab videos, and we haven't had a new one yet, but hopefully soon. We're gonna get on that.
And follow us on Clubhouse.
Life is busy. Life is a little busy. Oh, Clubhouse.
Yeah, and if you're an iPhone user, and unfortunately it's solely iPhone users right now, hopefully that'll expand, but if you're an iPhone user and you have Clubhouse, find us on there. All of us are our same names as Instagram, correct?
Yeah.
And there's been more and more planty people on Clubhouse. There's a lot of gardeners on there, which is wonderful. That's not me. I don't garden in the desert yet, but we need some more houseplant connoisseurs on there as well, and we can start some planty chats there. But the gardening content there's so many very intelligent people out there with very, very good knowledge. So it's a cool place to just pop in and listen to people talk.
Yeah, it is. And maybe we can get a Potted Together room going over there soon.
Yeah. Good times. But anyway, well, that's it. So I guess we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Gear Patrol calls their new dive watch the best sub-$500 dive watch. Full stop. Men's Health rated them as the most stylish solar watch in the game. Who are we talking about? It's Movement. They're leveling up your gift giving with the sleekest watches you can buy and the biggest deals of the season. Shop 30 to 50% off Movement's innovative California clean watches, jewelry, and accessories with fast free shipping and returns now at MVMT.com. That's MVMT.com.